Hey there everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Puborama, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about this week's discounts in Grand Theft Auto Online. I'll be honest, the money earning potential this week it's rather mediocre. You're making double money on the trafficking missions for Oscar Guzman at the Mackenzie hangar, and apart from that, you're getting double money on junk energy skydives, which are both pretty dang pointless if I'm going to be entirely honest. But we have really good discounts this week on aircraft and even certain vehicles. In today's video, I'll be breaking into 4 picks that I would highly recommend you consider getting your hands on. As always, if you enjoy this type of content, please consider smashing the subscribe button down below, as it helps out the channel a lot, and you may learn something new today. We're going to start off with the lowest discount and then move over to the highest, this being the F-160 Raiju at a 20% discount. If we actually make our way over to Illustrator, we can see normally its purchase price is $6.8 million. If you have it 20% off, you can buy it for $5.4 million. And if you own the terminal inside of the Avenger and you complete the really lame missions, you can get it at a trade price of $5.1 million and then get it for a 20% discounted price of $4.1 million. Most of you are probably sitting at the original price of $6.8. Honestly, it's not even worth it to buy the terminal for the Avenger because it costs about the same as the money you're saving, and the missions are pretty lame. So I would definitely recommend to just focus on probably getting it for $5.5 million. Yes, it's really expensive, but you are saving $1.4 million on the Raiju, and it is one of the best tools in the game for grinding. We can see it reaches a top speed of 232 miles per hour, making it the fastest mode of transportation in the game. That is over 100 miles per hour faster than the Oppressor Mark II, which is kind of wild when you think about it. And not only that, it has an explosive machine gun, it has homing missiles, and the ability to go into stealth mode, meaning that no players in a public lobby can see you while you are using this aircraft. That is kind of insane. So the Raiju has it all going for it. It is definitely the best jet and all-rounder in the game. I mean, you can see the sheer speed of it while I'm flying it right now. It is absolutely crazy. So yeah, the F-160 Raiju, 20% discount, is still definitely worth the price to get your hands on because, I mean, it's just an incredible jet. It's amazing for grinding. If you're a player that is obviously grinding a lot, you're making your way around the map very quickly, you're trying to do air freight cargo, you're trying to do special cargo, it is an amazing aircraft to use. And the major reason I would say is honestly the VTOL mode, being able to land on top of office buildings and park it there so you can, make your way over to the agency, land it on the roof, and then hop out to the roof exit and start your mission up. It's just great. So yeah, definitely get your hands on the Raiju. While this week is definitely more focused on aircraft, there is still one car which I find incredibly good, and that is the Weaponized Tampa. The Weaponized Tampa kind of has it all in terms of weaponry. First of all, it has missiles, and these are pretty dangerous missiles as we can see. They are fast, and they are really scary. The only thing you have to be worried about with the missiles is that the Weaponized Tampa can't survive any explosions, and it's not unlikely to shoot something in front of you and end up blowing yourself up. But don't worry, you also have rear mortars, which we can see right here. I can shoot, and these rear mortars will also just cause explosions behind you, which is really fun to just keep on shooting them and shooting them and shooting them anytime something tries to get behind you. Not only do you have rear mortars, you have a proximity mine. We can see I'm going to place 2 proxy mines here. Easy. Just no problem whatsoever. And then the final thing we have is the dual minigun, which, yeah, it's crazy. The dual minigun is definitely the major draw of the Weaponized Tampa. It will obliterate anything that comes after you. I can't really say the Weaponized Tampa is the best free roam lobby vehicle, but I can tell you that if you're doing missions, it is one of the best mission vehicles in the game. It's fast, driving in at 113 miles per hour, and it's a heck of a lot cheaper than something like the Weaponized Ignis, which is sitting at over $5 million to get your hands on. Plus, I mean, you gotta agree, it looks absolutely amazing. There is one massive downside with the Weaponized Tampa, though, before we talk about its price, and that is the fact the only way to upgrade it is if you have bunker research done. You need bunker research for every single weapon, the remote minigun, the proximity mines, the rear mortars, and even the missiles that you can shoot on it. So if you do not have bunker research done, I would not recommend to consider getting your hands on the Weaponized Tampa. But if you do have bunker research done, or you're planning on doing it, I would recommend to buy this, especially because it's fairly inexpensive. Making our way over to the price tag of it, we can see that it is 2.1 million base. With a 30% discount this week, you can get it for 1.5 million, and the trade price itself is 1.5. So that means if you have the trade price and then you get the discounted price, it's 1.1 million. I think that this is actually a really, really good deal for the Weaponized Tampa. 1.5 million for one of the most heavily weaponized vehicles in the game is super, super good. As I said, though, you need that bunker research or you're going to be sitting at quite the debacle. You're just going to have a useless, unweaponized vehicle sitting in your garage. So definitely get bunker research done. And that brings us to the final two discounts for today's video, both being aircraft and both being helicopters priced pretty similar. We have the FH-1 Hunter and the Akula. I think that both of these helicopters are amazing, and if you have the money, I'd recommend to buy both. But let's say you're working on a budget, you only want to get one of these two helicopters. Well, I'll be going over their capabilities and differences, letting you know which of the two I like better. Let's start off with their price tags. I can tell you that they are both pretty dang expensive, but at least because they're 40% off, you can save a little bit of money. Starting off, we have the Akula, sitting at 4.5 million. With a 40% off, it is 2.7 million, and if you have the trade price, it's 2,025,000. And the Hunter is a little bit cheaper at 4.1 million, which means you can buy it for 2.5 million, 40% off. Really not a huge difference between these two helicopters, about 300-ish thousand. Yeah. They're both expensive, but at least with the 40% off, they're about the same as a overpriced supercar. So let's start off with the FH-1 Hunter. Talk about this helicopter's capabilities, and then we'll move over to the Akula. Now, I can tell you the Hunter is one of my favorite aircraft in the game, and it's because of how heavily weaponized it is. It basically features every type of weapon you can put on an aircraft. First of all, it has normal homing missiles. These are just your average run-of-the-mill homing missiles, the same thing something like the Sparrow gets, or any other, helicopter, oppressor, whatever it is. But this is entirely unique to just a few vehicles, like the FH-1 Hunter and the B-11 Strike Force, a missile barrage. And we can see it is really dangerous. I'm pretty sure it's 8 homing missiles, but it might be 6. Either way, you shoot a bunch of homing missiles, and they completely bombard the ground. You can imagine how doing any free mode missions, this is, well, really, really effective and gets the job done really fast. I love the barrage feature. It's so fun to use. Not only do you have the missiles, it also has the furthest lock-on range for any homing missile in the game. It's actually a fun fact that a lot of people don't know. You can see how far we can lock onto these enemy targets. It's pretty dang far away. I should also mention that you have bombs, which is pretty cool. We can see the bombs here. If I drop them, blow up that car, easy. Yeah, the bombs are really, really fun to use. And you have flares, which means that anybody trying to take you out is going to have a very, very hard time to do so. I should also mention that the Hunter takes over 4 homing missiles to destroy. So this thing is an absolute beast. It's almost impossible to take out of the sky with the amount of weaponry and durability it features, plus the flares. And when you add all of that with the fact that when you have a passenger, they can use that explosive machine gun on the bottom. Yeah, this thing kind of does it all. It's also fast, flies in at 155 miles per hour, making it only 2 miles per hour slower than the Akula. The main advantage of the Akula is the fact that it has a stealth module. When you put your weapons away, you are invisible to anybody on the radar, just like the F-160 Raiju. It's quite nice, especially if you're worried somebody's going to try and blow you up while you're doing missions or anything in a free roam lobby. But it does have some major downsides compared to, let's say, the FH-1 Hunter. First of all, it does not get flares. We can see in the upgrades tab here, no flares. And they do get bombs, which is pretty nice, so if you ever want to use those, you can obviously blow anybody up. And secondary weapons, it does have homing missiles, but you don't get the barrage. You can use a barrage, but it only shoots 4, and not only that, it's no lock-on. So I would not recommend to use the mounted missile barrage. Just go with the homing missiles. They're going to be way better. Apart from that, there's one other bit of advice I can give for the Akula in the customization tab, and that is remove the liveries. You've got a bunch of liveries, obviously, you can mess with here. And there's a lot, right? My recommendation is remove liveries altogether. And then in respray, paint the aircraft chrome. Paint the secondary chrome as well. You might say, why? That looks absolutely terrible. Well, it'll actually make sense once we exit the hangar. See, this is a stealth aircraft, right? And the great thing about chrome is it's basically a giant mirror. So when you're in the sky, it's going to reflect the outside surrounding color. So if it's dark out, we can see the chrome is dark. If it's bright out, the chrome is going to be bright. What that means is that when you're flying the Akula, it's going to be a lot harder to spot it because it's going to be reflecting the colors thrown at it. Otherwise, you can buy 2 Akulas, make 1 black for nighttime and 1 blue for daytime. But I think this is the best way because we can see right now my Akula looks black, even though it has chrome on it, making it just that little bit harder to see. But you can let me know your personal feelings, opinions, and comments down below. Now, as I mentioned, the Akula does have some features of weaponry. We can see here we have the homing missiles, which are pretty cool. We also got the bombs, which you can drop out of the bottom. It's basically the same weaponry as the FH-1 Hunter, except you're missing the barrage, and you also do not get flares. I should mention that being in stealth does not remove the ability to lock onto you with homing missiles. So if you do get spotted by somebody, you still got to be really, really careful. Either way, let me know your personal feelings, comments, and opinions down below on what you think of these 2 helicopters. My personal opinion, go with the Hunter. Sure, you don't have the stealth module, but you survive more explosions. The Akula survives about 2 explosions, the 3rd one blowing it up, and the Hunter can survive 1 to 2 more. When you pair that with the flares, the much better damage output and weaponry, I just feel like the Hunter is going to be a lot better for missions, and I feel like the Hunter in general is going to be a much better PvP helicopter if you need it to be. So you can let me know your personal feelings. At the end of the day, that's just my opinion. As always, if you enjoy this type of content, you want to see more up-to-date videos and guides on weekly updates, discounts, and money guides, whatever it is, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.